All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. This one scripture has not only helped me to grow my business, but it's also to helped me to grow personally. It's helped me to grow in my marriage, relationally, and really is something that continues to guide my growth, period. And there's a really powerful principle in this scripture that I think a lot of people will miss. Because a lot of times, when things just seem so easy, it's like, oh yeah, I get that. But do you really get that? So check it out. It's in Proverbs chapter 20, verse 5. It says this: the purpose in a man's heart is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. The purpose in a man's heart is like deep water. Time and time again, I talk to people, and even myself, I find myself, wondering like, man, what should I do? Or what's the best approach to this particular thing? Or what is it that I want to do? Sometimes that question can sound so easy, like, hey, what do you want to do? But it could be so hard to answer it. It's like, man, I don't know. I kind of want to do this, but I kind of want to do that. And maybe you found yourself in a situation like that too, where you're like, man, I kind of know, but I don't know. I can't really identify it. I can't pinpoint it. And that speaks to the purpose that exists inside of you. And not only inside of you, but inside of other people as well. And here is how I think that this scripture has really helped me to grow my business specifically. And also too, like I said, my life and in almost every other area, is knowing what understanding is. Knowing what understanding is, and knowing how to be a person that is filled with understanding. Because when you are filled with understanding, you are now able to have this superpower, this ability to reach into another person's life and to draw out purpose. Man, let me just tell you this, and maybe you've experienced it for yourself. When you cannot draw out purpose on your own, when you struggle to find meaning, when you struggle to find purpose in your own life, it could be one of the most frustrating things and feelings that you can feel. It could be so frustrating because it's like, man, I just don't know. Like, that's not it. That's not it. That's kind of it, but that's not it. And then sometimes you could look to, just your environment. You start looking around like, well, what's the best thing to do? I don't know. You start weighing odds and doing all this other kind of stuff. And usually that is always going to leave you disappointed because it's not speaking to the purpose that's inside of you. And that purpose is so deep that you don't even know it. So if you could become a person of understanding that is able to draw out the purpose in another person's heart, let me just tell you, you will be incredibly, incredibly valuable. And that's exactly how I've been able to do that in my business. Is a lot of times, I will meet with clients or I will meet with people that they have an idea of something that they want. It's kind of like, yeah, I want to create this video, or I want to do this marketing thing, like this is what I want to do. But being a person of understanding, I go one step further than that. And I'm like, well, why do you want to do that? And sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they do know and they don't want to tell me because, they don't, they're not trying to give up any leverage in the conversation and negotiation, right? But my process is always to help draw out that purpose in that person. Because the better job that I can do drawing out that purpose in that person, the more valuable I'm going to be to that person. So for example, if we're having a conversation and somebody's like, yeah, I want a video. And through the course of our conversation and drawing things out, we realize that no, you actually don't want a video. You think a video will solve this problem, but this is actually your problem over here. And this is really what you want. And that person then goes like, yeah, you know what? Wow, I didn't even know that. Which, let me just tell you, happens all the time in consultative meetings that I have with clients. They're like, wow, I didn't even know that. If I hear a person say that in a meeting, I know that I'm on the right track. That's what I'm looking for, is I'm looking to listen. I'm looking to try to hear what's being said, and I'm trying to identify purpose within that person's heart. What is the purpose? What is the meaning that you have that you're trying to pull out. And how can I help you do that? Through questioning, through listening, through, all of those kind of things, even challenging sometimes. Do you really want that? Are you sure? And so once again, this scripture and even just this ability to be a person of understanding is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And when you do that, you almost break down all of the walls that another person who doesn't know you has. It's like, wow, this person gets me. This person understands. This person can help me. And if you've ever had a frustrating feeling or thought, or if you've ever just been super frustrated and somebody comes along and they're like, oh, I got the answer for that, and they help you get over that or get through that, man, you're going to feel incredibly indebted to that person. You're going to want to be around that person. You're going to want to do business with that person. You're going to want to just have that person a part of whatever it is that you're doing because they add that kind of value. So that is one of the biggest ways that this one scripture, don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on being a person of understanding. That sounds almost boring. I'm a person of okay, you understand a lot of things, right? But biblically, a biblical understanding. If you are a person of understanding, you will be incredibly, incredibly valuable in all that you do and all that you say, and every value that you bring to other people will be that much more valuable.